How are you guys? My name is Vincent Smoko and my contact details are the ones which are shown on your screen. Today we are going to be discussing a very interesting topic which is inference about the mean of a single population. We are going to be looking at the procedures that we take when doing hypothesis about the mean of a single population. So I have created a graph which shows you the basic guidelines, because generally there are three different scenarios. So these scenarios you will use them when choosing your test statistic. So the first thing that you need to ask yourself is the variance known? If the variance is known for the population that you are dealing with, you use this first test statistic, because we will be using the z-score. The z-score is just the normal distribution. And if the variance is not known, we need to consider if the sample size is more than 30 or less than 30. If your sample size is more than 30, again we use the z-score. But on the second test statistic, I want you to notice the difference. On the first test statistic, we are having the population sigma. Sigma is the symbol for the population standard deviation. And on the second test statistic, we have S, which is the sample standard deviation. And again, if the population size is more than 30, we'll be using the Z distribution to calculate this also. Then if the sample size is less than 30, we use the T distribution. So you need to know this graph, this summary by head, as it will help you to decide on which test statistic you will use, and it will also give you a guide on how you will choose your critical values. So I encourage you to use this video lesson in conjunction with your notes. For those that might need the notes on this topic, please feel free to hit my inbox. I will definitely share something with you on this topic. Let's look at the first question. The average mileage per liter of a newly manufactured motorbike is reported to be 60 kilometers per liter of petrol. The researcher believes that this is too low. To evaluate his claim, a sample of 26 motorbikes were investigated to find their mileage per liter of fuel. The sample information is reported in the following table. Verify the researcher's claim. So here we want to decide. So here we can see that information, we are not given the we are not given the... So the first thing here is to state our null hypothesis. So under H naught, mu is equals to 60. This is what the manufacturer is claiming. And we have the alternative hypothesis, which is the researcher's claim, mu is less than 60. So we have stated our hypothesis. The second thing that we are going to do is to state the level of significance. Here we were not given the level of significance in our question. So we use the default, which is 0.05. So the next step, we now want to calculate the test statistic. But before we calculate the test statistic, we need to find the mean. So x bar is equals to summation x over n, which is equals to, if we add all these observations, we will get 1,467 over, we have 26 observations. This gives us a mean of 56.4231. And also, if we find the variance, which is s squared, the formula is summation x squared minus n x bar squared over n minus 1. So summation x squared gives us 85,293 minus our n is 26, 56.4231 squared, all over 10 minus 1. So our variance, the variance that we'll get for this datum is equals to 100.814. So our standard deviation is equals to square root of 100.814, which gives us 10.40406. So now we have our standard deviation, and we have we now have the standard deviation and the mean. So we then go on to calculate our test statistic, which is zcalc, which is equals to x bar minus mu, the hypothesized mean, over s over root n. So this will give us 56.4231 minus the hypothesized mean is 60, then divided by 10.0406 over root 26. So the answer that we'll get here is negative 1.82. So now we now want to determine the critical value. But before we determine the critical value, we have to take note that this is a one-tailed test. One-tailed tests are directional. By meaning directional, it means that on our alternative hypothesis, we have either mu is less than 60 or mu is greater than 60. If we had mu is not equal to 60, it was going to be a two-tailed test. So in this case, we have one rejection region. So in this case, our rejection region is, so this is the normal distribution. We have 0 in the middle. So our critical value is going to go to the left side. It should go to the side which is being pointed by this arrow. So if it is less than, it goes to the left side. So Z at 0.05 is equals to Z at 0.95, which is equals to 1.6449. So here we have negative 1.6449. So if we take our test statistic here, we will notice, let's use a different color for it. So this test statistic, if you put it on this graph, we will notice that it will fall on the left side of our critical value, and hence it will fall into the rejection region. So our decision rule is that we reject H0, the null hypothesis, if Z-calc is less than negative 1.6449. So conclusion, since Z-calc is less than negative 1.6449, we reject the null hypothesis. And conclude at 5% level of significance that we have rejected our null hypothesis. So we are concluding that the consumption, we conclude that the consumption of the newly manufactured motorbikes is less than 60 kilometers per liter. So we are done with our first question. Now going on to the second question, it is saying